So, are we ready to dive into the financial results of Punjab National Bank? I mean, the sheer volume of information they put out is, well, a lot.
Absolutely. It's like they opened a fire hose of data. But hey, that's what we're here for, right? To make sense of the numbers, the ratios, the whole shebang. Plus, they have a cool hashtag, just one app.
Right, yes, just one app. I guess it's their thing. Well, let's start with the basics. PNB is a major bank, right? And it seems to have a pretty broad presence.
Yes, they have a vast network across India and also some international branches, like in London, in Dubai, and even a subsidiary in Bhutan called Druk PNB Bank Ltd. It's like a whole financial ecosystem.
Okay, so quite the global reach there. Now, the meat of the matter, the financial performance. I was looking at the income statement and, there's a lot going on.
You're right. Well, let's break it down. Their net profit saw a huge jump, like it went up to 4,508 crore rupees in the third quarter of FY25 compared to 2,223 crore rupees in the same quarter last year. That's more than double.
Wow, that's a significant increase. And how about their earnings per share, the EPS? Did that improve as well?
Yep, their EPS also increased from 2.02 to 3.92. It's not annualized, so it's just for this quarter, but still a pretty impressive jump.
Okay, these are all very positive signs. Now, what about the expenses side? I mean, if they are earning more, we also need to see if their costs are under control.
Well, their interest expenses did go up, which is typical of a growing bank, and operating expenses also increased. However, the rise in revenue was much higher, and actually, they were able to offset these with a sharp decline in provisions.
Provisions, right? That makes sense. Okay, let's move on to the balance sheet. What did you notice there?
On the balance sheet, I'm noticing a growth in deposits and advances, both domestically and internationally. Total assets stand at over 17.6 lakh crore, and it all seems healthy, well, mostly.
Hey, that paints a good picture of growth. I'm particularly interested in the bank's non-performing assets or NPAs. I mean, what's their situation with those?
Ah, yes, the NPAs. Well, their gross NPA ratio improved quite a bit from 6.24% to 4.09%, and the net NPA ratio also improved down to 0.41% from 0.96%. That's a pretty substantial drop.
That's a really positive change. I guess it means they're doing a better job of managing their loan portfolio.
Exactly. It seems their asset quality is improving, which is always a good sign for a bank's overall health. And their provision coverage ratio, which basically shows how much they've set aside to cover potential losses from bad loans, is also up at 96.77%.
So they are well prepared for potential losses then. That's quite reassuring. Now, moving to the cash flow statement, which honestly is my favorite.
I get you. Cash is king. Well, unfortunately, the detailed cash flow statement isn't explicitly in this report, but from their strong profitability, I'd assume they are generating healthy cash flow. That's a pretty safe assumption, though.
Okay, that's a shame we don't have that, but the profit numbers speak for themselves. Now, let's talk about those financial ratios. Did anything stand out to you?
Well, their return on assets or ROA has seen a great improvement, jumping up to 0.03% from 0.58%. And their return on equity, ROE, also jumped up to 19.22%. These numbers are impressive,
These are all pretty solid numbers. It's clear they are becoming more efficient. So, what do you make of their capital adequacy ratio? It's important for banks to maintain sufficient capital.
Absolutely. And their capital adequacy ratio, or CRAR, is at 15.41%, which is above regulatory requirements, indicating that the bank has enough capital to manage risk.
Okay, so they're doing a good job maintaining financial stability. Let's touch on the segment reporting now, see how different parts of the bank are performing.
Well, they have four main segments: treasury operations, wholesale banking, retail banking, and other banking operations. It seems like all the major segments are generating good revenue and profits, especially retail banking.
Okay, that diversification seems to be working for them. What about their digital banking efforts? Are they making any strides in that area?
Oh, yes, they are really pushing digital. The number of users on their PNB One app has jumped, and they have lots of initiatives like WhatsApp banking and a corporate mobile banking app. They're really embracing the digital age.
That's great to see, and something that's really important in today's world. They also talk a lot about financial inclusion. What did they say about that?
Oh, yes, they're heavily involved in various government schemes like PMJDY, PMJJBY, PMSY, and APY. They're actively increasing access to banking services, especially for those who are unbanked or underbanked.
It's nice to see them contributing to society that way. By the way, they also published a detailed security cover certificate for their debt securities. Have you seen that?
Yes, they have. And it's like a checklist to ensure that they have enough assets to cover their debt. It is a required disclosure by SEBI for debt securities, showing they have adequate security for their borrowings.
Okay, that's good to know that their debt is well covered. Now, let's move on to something interesting from the report. Did you notice anything about their one-time restructuring of loans?
Right. It seems they had a lot of restructuring under those schemes. But the good news is they've also provided enough additional provisions for those. So they seem to be taking a cautious approach there.
Okay, that's definitely cautious. Now, before we wrap up, what can you tell me about their external ratings?
They have pretty good ratings from agencies like CRISIL, India Ratings, CARE, and ICRA. These ratings really are an important sign of the bank's creditworthiness. Moody's and Fitch have also given them ratings, though slightly different.
Okay, all in all, it seems like they're doing a pretty good job. What are your thoughts on their outlook? Do you see growth continuing?
Well, with the positive trends in their financials, improving asset quality, and digital initiatives, their outlook seems good. And the management also seems quite optimistic in their analyst presentation.
I guess so. And one quick point for our listeners, disclaimer, we advise investors to check with certified experts before taking any investment decisions.
Absolutely. Now, to wrap up, it looks like Punjab National Bank has had a pretty solid quarter, showing strong profitability and improved asset quality. What's your overall takeaway?
Well, overall, I'd say that PNB has shown some great financial improvement and they seem to be on a growth trajectory. They're also doing a pretty good job balancing growth with risk management.
Agreed. It seems like they are really turning the ship around. So, listeners, what do you think about PNB's financial results? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments section. And hey, if you've enjoyed our analysis, give us a like, a share, and be sure to subscribe to our channel.
Yes, do like and subscribe to stay tuned for more financial insights. And what's next on your list? Any other analysis you're looking forward to?
Well, that's a great question. I'm actually planning to review the tech sector. It's been quite exciting. But for now, that's all, folks.